Hi everyone, so welcome to part 2 of our Elements yoga series, and today we'll be focusing on the water element. So the water element in regard to our yoga practice is moving with ease, fluid movements, ocean breath, and we connect into our feminine energy with this as well. So if you want to bring in some of the chakras, then we'd be thinking about our hips. So really trying to find some space and some ease through our hips, through our shoulders. And obviously this practice is available to everybody, all bodies. It's a very gentle practice, and we are going to be staying on the mat for this. Now, the beauty of yoga is that we should always feel better at the end than we did at the start. So a certain amount of dis-ease or discomfort in poses is okay. So kind of like when you go for a massage and they're really getting deep into those muscles, so you can feel a little bit like, ooh, but you know it's doing you good. That sensation is fine. But any short, sharp pains, then definitely just back off out of that. Find stillness and then join me in the next pose if it's accessible to you. But I'm hoping that everything today is something that you can all do easily. Okay, so we're going to start sat in a comfortable seated position. So that might be kneeling as I am now, or sitting cross-legged. So I'm going to sit in a cross-legged position because kneeling isn't too comfortable for my knees. But if this feels good for you, then you stay where you are. But for now, I'm going to sit back in a cross-legged position. And I always sit on a yoga block when I sit in a cross-legged position because I have, even though I'm a yoga teacher, I have very tight hips. And so I need to just elevate my hips a little bit higher than my knees. Otherwise, I feel like when I'm sat down, my knees are up by my ears somewhere. I'm all scrunched down and I can't get my spine straight or sit comfortably. And really, I want you to be as comfortable as possible when we practice. So I'm going to sit on a block. If you haven't got a block, then a cushion is fine, or you can sit in a chair, however feels comfortable for your hips and your knees. What we want to try and do is get as straight a back as we can. So perching myself on my block, in my cross-legged position, and just for a moment, closing the eyes, everybody, lengthening through the spine, resting the hands on the knees. And let's just take a moment to be still. Gently closing the eyes. Imagine a raindrop has fallen from the skies, dropped onto the eyelids, and it's those raindrops that are gently closing those eyes over. So very soft. And then ask the muscles in the face to relax. Ask the shoulders to relax. Imagine the collarbones spreading wide apart so you open through the chest. Lengthen through the spine. Feel the lower body sinking down into the floor as the upper body rises up to the sky. And just check in with how you're feeling right now in this moment. Physically, emotionally, mentally. Every time we come to practice, we feel a little bit different. So how do you feel right now? Yesterday, maybe the knees felt fine. Today, maybe they're a little stiff. Yesterday, maybe you took deep breaths with ease. Today, maybe it feels like the breath is getting stuck in the neck or the upper chest area. Maybe today you feel calm. Or maybe there's lots of thoughts racing around in the mind and you're finding it hard to be still. Sitting in stillness at the start of practice is always a little bit more challenging than at the end of practice. So just accept that. It is what it is. But the longer that we sit in stillness, just taking deep breaths, then eventually it will become easier all of those thoughts that are swirling around in the mind, all of that chatter, just begins to slow down, just a touch. And maybe we can find a pathway between those thoughts. If there's a thought that keeps just pushing itself to the forefront of the mind, let's try removing it. So I'd like you to imagine placing that thought or thoughts in a box, closing that box, and just putting it to the side and say to it, not now, not in this moment, I'll deal with you later. And then I'd like you to visualize a path. Picture yourself standing on that path and just begin to walk slowly along it. And you can hear in the distance the soft sounds of waves crashing against the shore. Continue along that path, aware of warm rays from the sun beaming down. Feel the warmth on your skin and a light breeze against your face as you continue to walk, hearing the distant sound of seagulls and beginning to smell the sea. And as you continue along the path, you begin to notice a beautiful beach of golden sand, beautiful blue sea, and gentle waves crashing against the golden sands. And you decide to pause here to sit on the warm sand and gaze out into the ocean. As you inhale, visualize the waves flowing in, and as you exhale, the waves flowing out. Inhale, waves flowing in, and exhale, waves flowing out. And you feel calm, relaxed, safe and completely at ease. Inhale, waves coming in. Exhale, waves coming out. Continue to sit on the sand, feeling the warmth of the sun and a soft breeze. As you place one hand on your belly and the opposite hand on your chest. And just try and exaggerate the movements of the belly and the chest as you breathe in and breathe out. So as you inhale, feel expansion. And as you exhale, contraction. Inhale, belly and chest grow bigger as they fill with air. And exhale, they grow smaller as you breathe out. Deep breaths. If you can, take the breath only through the nose, the inhale and the exhale, keeping the mouth closed. Begin to restrict the muscles at the back of the throat. This allows the breath to slow down, and the breath begins to make a raspy sound like the sound of the ocean. Stay with that ocean breath as you begin to blink the eyes open. Just allow yourself a moment to adjust to the light. And then as you inhale, lifting up your right arm to the sky. And exhale, flow over to the left. Inhale brings us back up. And as you exhale, the left arm comes to the outside edge of the right thigh. And we gaze over right shoulder. Inhale, the chest faces the front, the right arm reaches up. Exhale, extend over to the left side, stretch. Inhale, we come up. Left hand travels to the outside of the right leg, moving into a spinal twist there. Flowing in harmony with the breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Really allowing the body to move fluidly through this. Feeling a softness as we move through that side stretch and spinal twist. One more on this side. Inhale, face the front, lift the arms up and above the head. Exhale, palms together, return through heart center. Lovely, just give the shoulders a little shake out. Now if you're sitting cross-legged, let's switch those legs over. So take them out in front, maybe give the knees a little rub down. Bounce out through those legs, get the blood flowing through the limbs once again. If you're kneeling, you may want to come into a tabletop position and just give the legs a good old shake out there. And then either choosing to kneel once again or cross-legged with the opposite leg in front. Lengthen through the spine, roll the shoulders back and down. And let's repeat that on the opposite side. So inhale, floating the left arm up to the sky. Exhale, side stretch over towards the right. With the inhale, we float up through center. Right hand goes to the outside of the left thigh, gazing over the left shoulder into your spinal twist. Inhale, we face forwards, lift up. Exhale, side stretch over to the right. Inhale, we float through center. And exhale, find that spinal twist. Deep breaths, flowing fluidly from side to side. Finding a softness through the body. One more. Inhale, big side stretch. Exhale brings us up. Inhale, find that spinal twist. Exhale, return to center. Inhale to lift the arms up to the sky. Exhale down through heart center. Perfect. Resting the hands on the knees. Take the body over towards the right as you inhale. And exhale, circle through center. Inhale brings us around. And exhale, deep breaths. One more. Let's move the opposite way. Really plant down through the sit bones so you stay balanced. I'm really enjoying this movement, this freedom that you're feeling through the body. Going as slow or as fast as you need to in this moment without causing any dizziness. One more. Perfect. Return to center. As you inhale now, just pull the heart forwards, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and exhale, chin to chest, and really arch through the upper back and shoulders, draw the navel in towards the spine. Inhale brings us through in our seated cat-cow, and exhale, arching through that upper back and shoulders. Imagine the breath is waving through the spine. exhale. So exaggerate the movement as much as you feel able to in your body. Enjoy the sensation of that deep yogic ocean breath flowing through the spine, releasing any tiredness, tightness, tension. And the yogis say if there's one yoga pose that you should do daily, it's your cat-cow. Freedom of the spine. And if you think the spine is so important to the entire body because it's our center line. Everything we ever touch, feel, see, every emotion that we feel, everything gets stored in that spine. So we need to move the spine and just get those energies moving. Let's do one more. And beautiful. Roll those shoulders back and down. Now, come into a kneeling position. But we're not going to sit our bottom back onto the heels. So for most of you, this should feel okay because there's no pressure through the knees because I'm not sitting back on my heels like this. However, sometimes it can feel a little bit uncomfortable if we have got tight knees, dehydrated joints. So you may want to just roll up a towel or kneel on some cushions so you can place it either under the knees or another alternative is to place it here behind the knees, just so we've got a little bit of comfort there if we do start to sit down into this position. So I'm going to place it underneath the knees. And also, you could have 2 yoga mats if you needed. So I'm here. Now, we're going to flow from side to side, but very slowly, very mindfully. Nothing is rushed here. And when you come up on the opposite side, I want you to really draw your navel into your spine and see about using your abdominal muscles to draw you up rather than the muscles in your back, okay? So I'm going to drop my left ear over towards left shoulder and then go really heavy through the left side and then just begin to let the body sink down. Go as low as you can. And then once you feel like the body's kind of saying, oh, that's enough, then we just take it forwards. And coming up the other side. Kind of like we're in a horror film, really, like a little zombie movement. Over we go as far as you can. And then rolling through the other side. Lifting the heart up to the sky. So just trying to get a little bit more movement each time we go round. And there's something about this. It just feels so freeing for the body. Let's do one more. Releasing through center. Let's take a moment to just reset before we move to the other side. So taking the bottom back to the heels, and this is where you might want to move your cushion or towel and just place it underneath here so it feels more comfortable to sit back onto the heels. Take a moment to just take a deep breath, inhale, to reach the fingertips upwards towards the sky and exhaling down through your heart center. Okay, should we go to the other side? Perfect. Lift the bottom up and away from the thighs. Maybe take your towel or your cushion underneath the knees once again if needed. I always think with the joints, there's no need to be in pain. There's no need for your joints to dig into the mat. So wherever you can, support your joints, because otherwise it just distracts you from your practice. So just for a little moment of moving a cushion or a towel, just makes it so much nicer. Let's go to the other side. Right ear to right shoulder. Go as heavy as we can. And then we roll through the centre. And bringing it up and around the other side. Now as you're doing this, still think about how you're breathing. It's very easy sometimes for the movement to distract us from the breath. But always remember the key to your yoga practice is your yoga breathing. Everything else is just movement. So you may want to take the pace a little slower, and that's perfect. Really feel into every sensation that the body is offering you. Flowing gently. Let's do one more. Perfect. Bringing the hands down to the floor. And just give those knees a little shake out, take the legs behind. Give the hips a little wiggle out from side to side. Now stepping your right foot forwards on the outside of your right hand. Now it may not get there, so your foot may get stuck here. If it gets stuck, we just help it forwards to wherever feels good and right for you. Again, I'm going to take my towel and fold it up and place it underneath my left knee, because there's no point in your joints feeling on the mat, especially like this is quite a hard floor. We always want to protect our joints. Now, your mat or floor may feel far away in this position. You may feel like you're hunching down. And if you think, we always want to find space in the body, we want space to lengthen, to breathe, to grow. We don't want to be squished down. So I advise using your yoga block or your cushions to just rest your hands on. And then I've got so much space here. I can lengthen my spine. I can open through my collarbones. I can focus on breathing deep into my belly. Down here, I'm so squished. I can't do my deep yoga breathing. I feel uncomfortable. Just coming up onto the block just allows the pose to open up. So all of these blocks, cushions, pillows, whatever you're using, books maybe, use them as tools to open up your practice rather than thinking them as of props to support you. So they're tools for me to find freedom of movement and space, to allow me to really explore the poses to a greater depth than I'd be able to without them. So never feel like you're diminished by using a tool. These are just to enhance, to open up, to expand. Perfect. Now all of that talking has hopefully distracted you from what's going on in this hip. I hope it did. Breathing into those hips, opening through the chest space, the heart space, and allow the hips to sink a little bit deeper. Now if it does feel a little bit antsy there, you may just want to rock. See, I'm doing a gentle rock forwards and back. Also, I'm relaxing the toes in my right foot and I'm pushing my heel into the floor. A few more breaths here. Perfect. Now from here, you'll step that right leg back and just give it a really good shake out. Now drop down your left arm to the floor, come up onto your right fingertips so you make like a claw, bend the right knee and send the knee upwards to the sky, and then think about stacking your right hip on top of left. So I'll go sideways so you can see it here. So left elbow down, up onto fingertips, right leg lifts, bend the knee, and I'm stacking that right hip on top of left. You should feel an opening all here in this space. Breathe deeply, ocean breath into this. So remember I said the hips are really connected to our feminine energy and to our water element. Release that knee back down to the floor, have a little wiggle out, and let's go to the other side. So step in now, your left foot forwards. I'm taking my towel and placing it underneath my right knee. And also I'm going to use the block once again to rest my hands on. So I can find some space as I melt the hips down towards the floor. Thinking about how long I could make the spine, how open the collarbones could be. Relaxing the muscles in the face and taking a moment to just breathe here. If it feels a little bit uncomfortable in the hips, you may find like a sway forwards and back. May just give you that little bit of release that you need. Taking one more breath there. Perfect. Releasing down now the hands. Bring that left leg high and back and give it a shake. And then bending the knee, stacking left hip on top of right hip. Dropping your right elbow and forearm down to the floor. Coming up onto left fingertips to find a little bit more space to really open up through that left hip. And just take the gaze wherever feels comfortable for your neck. But remember, we should never feel any tension in the neck and the jaw. We're always trying to release tension rather than create it through our practice. Carefully release that knee back down to the mat. Have a little wiggle out through your hips. Move into child's pose. So big toes will go together. Take the bottom back towards the heels. And then stretch the arms forwards. And rest the forehead down to the floor. Now, if the floor feels like it's really far away, you've got a block that you can rest the head on. And that may open up the pose just a little bit more for you. Also, if it feels uncomfortable under the knees, again, we know we can pad underneath, or even roll your mat. So you can double or triple it up, and that will give you a little bit more padding for those knees as well. In child's pose, just gently sway the hips from side to side. Keep a little bit of movement flowing through the body. Maybe you can stretch the arms further forwards, but as you do that, try and relax the shoulders back and down. Take a moment to just breathe that wonderful ocean breath. Rock the weight forwards as you inhale, cross your ankles over, and then walk yourself back over the feet. And then bring the soles of the feet together, knees out to the side, and take hold around your toes. And then just walk your hips as close as you can towards your heels. Open your feet like you're opening the pages of a book, and use your elbows to gently apply some pressure to the inner thighs of your legs. Deep breaths into the hips. One more. Perfect. Take the hands to the outside of the legs. Gently guide the knees together. Extend your right leg out in front. Keep the left knee bent and lace all 10 fingers together. And just hug that knee in nice and tight to the chest. At the same time, lift and lengthen through the spine. And actively push the right heel away from you. Squeeze in a little bit tighter. Perfect. Release that leg down to the floor. Let's go to the other side to bring the right knee in, interlace all 10 fingers. Squeeze in nice and tight towards the chest, lengthening through the spine at the same time. And gently release. Give the legs a little bounce out, a little rub down. And then taking the legs as wide apart as feels comfortable for you. Kicking through the heels, and then I always take hold of my bum cheeks one at a time, kind of lift them out of the way. And that gives me a little bit more wiggle room for this. Hands in front, take a deep inhale, lift the heart forwards, and as you exhale, really try and lengthen through the torso, bringing your way down towards the floor. Now this one can feel a little bit niggly for a lot of people. If it does, we've got a block that may make the pose feel a little bit more accessible to you, so resting the hands on the block if you wish. And then also, if it's a struggle to get straight legs, we can have the knees bent, and we still get into the hips here. Maybe you'll feel the body begin to relax, and you can go a little bit deeper into that pose. Gently walk the hands back in. Move that block out of the way. Take the hands underneath the back of the knees. Bend, bring the legs together, extending out in front. And let's bring ourselves to a seated position. Again, cross-legged, with a nice lengthened spine and the shoulders relaxed back and down. Inhale as you float the arms up to the sky. Exhaling through heart center. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Keep the hands in the center of the chest. Close the eyes. Relax the muscles in the face, relax the jaw. Take a deep breath into the heart. And as you exhale, let the hands rest down on the knees, forefinger and thumb together, palms facing up to the sky. Roll those shoulders back and down, open through the collarbones. And take yourself back to the golden sands, gazing out to the ocean. Inhale, waves rising up. Exhale, waves falling down. It's a beautiful, warm day. Clear blue skies. Crystal clear ocean. And the beach is all to yourself. You feel safe. You won't come to any harm. You feel secure. You feel grounded, connected to the earth. But also open to the flow of the ocean, the changing of the tides. Allow yourself another moment here. And how do you feel? How does your body feel? One more deep breath. Bringing the hands together into prayer. Allowing the chin to fall towards the chest, bowing down to honour your practice and that of everybody else. Straighten the spine. Open the eyes. Jai to the yogis. Namaste, everybody.